To refresh the contents of an Update Panel control, an update must be triggered. This is done using the Triggers property of the Update Panel control. To begin this lesson, open the Stable Base project from your Sample Files folder. And open default.aspx in Design View. You're now going to set the Triggers property of the Update Panel control to trigger an update when the Update News button is clicked. First, select the Update Panel control. If you have difficulty doing this, select Update Panel News from the drop-down menu in the Properties window. Now click the Triggers property and click its Browse button. The Update Panel Trigger Collection Editor dialog appears. Click the Add button to add a new trigger. Now set the Control ID property of the new trigger to Button Update News and set the Event Name property to Click. And click OK. Your Update Panel control is now complete. When the Update News button is clicked, the entire page will not be refreshed. Only the contents inside the Update Panel control will be updated using AJAX. In most situations, the Update Panel and Script Manager controls are all you will need to add AJAX functionality to your pages. If your requirements are very complex, however, you may run into problems. Complex C# code sometimes causes errors when used with the Update Panel and Script Manager controls. The code that is created by the Update Panel and Script Manager controls is also very generic and unlikely to be very efficient. If your requirements go beyond the limitations of the Update Panel control, you can write your own JavaScript code. You'll learn how to do this later in this session. Now let's test your new AJAX functionality. View default.aspx in your web browser. And open the newsadmin.aspx page in a new browser tab. To do this in Internet Explorer, first move your mouse cursor over Admin on the navigation bar, then right-click News and click Open in New Tab from the shortcut menu. Now in the text box on the Admin News page, type "Our news page now has AJAX functionality" and click Add News Item. Now return to your original browser tab, that's the one containing default.aspx, and click Update News. The news items are updated without refreshing the page. To achieve this, the Update Panel and Script Manager controls modified the Button Update News Click event handler to emulate a web service by returning SOAP-compliant XML. When the button is clicked, some JavaScript code calls the Button Update News Click web method and receives SOAP XML data. The returned values are then displayed inside the UpdatePanel control. It's important to note that this functionality is completely unrelated to the web service you created in Lesson 8.1. The UpdatePanel and Script Manager controls emulate the functionality of web services, but do not work with existing web services by default. Later in this session, you'll learn how to implement this functionality using your own JavaScript code. You may still be having some difficulty figuring out how the Script Manager, UpdatePanel, Label News and Button Update News controls work together to implement Ajax using SOAP-enabled methods. It really is a very complex process, and one that most professional programmers I have worked with couldn't even begin to explain to you. In most situations, the UpdatePanel and Script Manager controls are all you will need to add Ajax functionality to your pages. For this reason, many programmers have given up on understanding the inner workings of Ajax, with the justification that it just works. Later in this session, you will further explore the inner workings of the JavaScript code that ASP.NET uses to implement Ajax. You will then be equipped to completely understand how Visual Studio has turned an incredibly complex coding task into just a few clicks of the mouse. Close your web browser now and close Visual Studio. You've now completed Lesson 8.4. Add triggers to an UpdatePanel control.